Or are you debating over there?
Okay,
so I used to just really love three circle. I still like the three circles way of sharing the gospel, but increasingly I love this 15-second story. You can really use it anywhere. Right. And I've been out walking around with some guys who they came up, hey, how are you doing today? Well, you know, it's funny you asked that. There was a time in my life. I mean, seriously, you can just. There's so many opportunities to be able to segue into this, and it's just a natural thing because the gospel has impacted your life in so many different ways. God will show you what adjectives fit in that moment in whatever situation you're in, right? So this is just a very versatile tool that even can dovetail with what Drew's going to share. Go ahead, Drew.
All right, I'm Drew. How's it going? So the thing, like, I don't know about most of you guys, but like this is one of the most underutilized tools for me because like I talk to everybody. I talk to cashiers. I talk to like waiters or whatever else. But you know, they're like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, oh, living the dream, bro. You know, like living the dream. You know, and they're like, oh, really, the dream? And I'm like, yeah, you know, and like, don't even go any further. Like, that's all. Bye. You know, are you done? You know, like that. And but the thing is, like, I'm challenged, and I feel like this needs to be a default for me. And like that's a for me thing, but I mean, I feel like for us, because here's the deal: is it opens up bridges. And so, like, whenever you ask somebody, you're like, hey, you know, do you have a story like that? If they're like, what, you know, or like no, or they even like jump in like, what, tell me, you know, more about that. You say, hey, has anybody showed you the story of the world in three circles? And so here's the thing: is this is three circles. Has anybody ever told you the story of the world in three circles? Story of all life, three circles. See, here's the thing: is the world's broken. Things don't work in this world. I don't know. Like you can look in the news, you can look in your family tree. You see that things aren't working. I don't have to convince you of that, right? Right. And the fact that things aren't working, like here's the deal: is we all try to deal with that. We all try to deal with that. And we try to deal with it in like all sorts of different things. And some of them, I mean, like any different direction. Like it could be success. Listen, if I can get the right job, if I can get the right amount of money, the right thing, if I can get the education, if I can have the right relationship, like, you know, but I mean, we can also fight with that with all sorts of things that are like hazardous to us. But reality is, every one of those things, if they can rust, they will. And if they're of this world, they're gonna rot. They're gonna go bad. And the thing is, from the beginning, God didn't plan for that to be that way. From the beginning, there was a God who loves us, and He had God's original design. God's original design. Now the thing is, we didn't like things the way we didn't want to be told what to do. If we're really honest, that's my problem. Is like you tell me something to do, immediately I'm gonna be like, nope, not gonna do that. Just push against it immediately. And it's this thing that broke our connection with God, and it sent us over into this brokenness. But the God who started out with wanting things to be perfect for us, it was not fine for things to not be fine. And so He sent His Son down to earth so that He could die a death He didn't deserve, to take away my sin and your sin and be raised from the grave. Not just raised from the grave, but establishing Himself as king over death and over sin, because you own and you control the things you beat. Yeah. And the thing is, to get out of this brokenness, I'm not asking you to fix and change all these things. I'm asking you that God is asking you to accept that His Son is who He said He was. And just turn from this. Trust that His Son is who He said He was. And God will make you a new creation. And He will grow you back into the design He intended for you. But the thing is, it doesn't end there. Because He, from the get-go, had a plan. And it wasn't for things to be broken, or for those who have been fixed. is to go back into brokenness. So my question for you is, where are you on this map? If you are in brokenness and you're like, yeah, I'm in brokenness, and I want to be in a perfect relationship with God where things are supposed to be, then this is what you do. And this is something that's cool that Mark showed me, that a lady that he had trained on this showed him, is whenever you get to the point of like praying to receive salvation, it's this. God, I know that I'm a sinner. I know that I'm in brokenness. I want to turn and trust that Jesus is who he said he was. God, make me a new creation and make me a part of your plan so you can send me to those who need it. See, like it's the same pattern. Or the thing is, you can start this whole thing, this 3 circles thing, you can start from the things originally were meant to be perfect side. Okay? So I want, let me see. Does anybody feel pretty good about 3 circles and they wanna share it with somebody? Who feels good about 3 circles? Matt? Oh, you want to do 3 circles? Come on.
Too.
Matt, perfect. That was the Holy Spirit, I think. It was good.
Well, I don't know. Wait till I'm done and see if it's the Holy Spirit.
Listen, that's exactly what it's supposed to be. Okay.
That rope.
He who began a good work in you will be
Matt,
Yeah,
would
but are
it
y'all
feel
gonna wait around till
easier?
completion?
Matt, would it feel easier if you were telling one person rather than trying to like train a group?
I think so. I think Bronson should come up here.
Bronson.
Yeah.
This is a good friend. Does that to the good
Yeah.
friends.
Hey Bronson, how's it going? Hey, I want to know if anyone's ever told you the story of the world in 3 circles. You ever heard of that?
Yes.
Well, let me refresh you.
So much for good food.
Okay.
Hand him the pins. All right, show me.
That's exactly right.
That's good. So the first circle, you got the world as we know it. Everything's broken, messed up. I mean, hop on social media, the news, or whatever, and you see it. It's all kind of garbage, and people think, well, I'm gonna get the right car, or once I get married, that'll be great. Or boy, if I get that next job, everything's cake. But we actually know from experience that once you get those things, I mean, it just goes right back into it's all broken up. You got divorce, and you got fired, and you got or you got more money, but then you spent more money, so you just back to that stuff. So all of the world is broken, and so there's actually the second circle over here is you got a loving, personal, caring God. And he actually loves you, Bronson. It's hard to believe, but he loves you, and he actually wants to have a relationship with you. And he doesn't think that this is good or okay. He actually wants to do something about it. So he's gonna go and repair this brokenness. He didn't do it the way you and I thought. Maybe he just snapped his fingers, but he actually did it at a great cost. And what he did was he sent his son Jesus go down into the world, lived amongst all this broken stuff, but lived perfectly. He was like a light in the world, and he lived perfectly in this darkness. And then they put him on the cross, killed him. He willingly died and suffered for you and me. And then after dying in the grave 3 days, he rose again, and that permanently declared who he said he was. He was king, not only of the world he created, but over death and every single thing. And when he had by himself purged our sins, he went back and sat down right at the right hand of God. And by doing that, now he's asking you. He's saying, all this stuff, you'll never be able to fix it. But if you want to trust, if you want to turn from sin, that's an R. If you want to turn from sin and trust in Jesus and what he said he is and who he said he was, which is that he died for your sins and rose again the 3rd day, you can be made right with God, and you can be restored into fellowship with God, in a relationship with God as one of his children. You get that perfect righteousness of Jesus. So now that you're in this relationship with God, what's next? God's not done with you. He wants you to be a priesthood of believers, right? A royal priesthood. So he wants to send you back into this dark world that's broken, and he wants you to declare and tell about his good news about his son, so that more people can come and more people can go out. And that's the story of the world. So where are you in this picture?
All right.
That's right. So we're going to take time and go ahead and practice doing the 3 circles. You can also approach it from the other side, where it's like in the beginning, God had a perfect plan for us to live without any. There was no pain, there was no death, there was no issues. But the thing is, man wasn't fine with doing what everybody else, what God wanted him to do. He wanted to figure things out on his own. And so that ended up leading to sin, and sin ended up leading to brokenness. You talk about the same things over in brokenness. It's the same arch back, everything like that. But you can start from either direction, and a lot of times the conversation you have before it kind of can lead you in which side. Somebody's talking about how beautiful the day is. Like God, I believe, originally meant for the weather to always be this way. Somebody talked about, like, dude, my kid is just the worst. I'm like, let me tell you about my kid. But so you can work it both ways when you're working in your groups. Let's go ahead and take time to do that now.
Thanks for checking out the videos. For more resources, feel free to visit www.noplaceleftokc.com. Here you'll find all the videos, resources mentioned in the training videos. You'll have a gospel report where you can fill out if you've shared the gospel around the city, a map to see where the work is going out, also contact information for anyone in your area, and any of the resources trained in these videos will be under the free resources. In order to download them, just click on them, download them to your PDF, or make a copy and save it to your drive. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. Have a blessed day.